for the girl, child," she announced, with the authority of her office. Two other women entered behind her, bringing with them a scent of sweet smoke and bitter herbs. "She is not ready," Brigantona protested, according to custom, but without sincerity. She had waited a long time for this night, to see the child leave. She held Epona by one shoulder, and Tutorix took hold of the other, ready to propel the girl forward if she should threaten to humiliate them by balking. Children did sometimes struggle at this final moment, and even those who knew her best could not always predict what Epona might do. "Come," Nematona commanded, holding out her hand. "I do this willingly," Epona said in her mind to her mother. "If I did not, you could not force me. You could not." She had had many similar conversations with her mother over the seasons, not all of them silent. She clasped Nematona's hand firmly, realizing, by the warmth of the couturièr's fingers, how cold her own were. It would have been clever to warm her hands by the fire before the women came for her, but of course no one had suggested it, and now it was too late. What was done now must be of her own doing. Nematona led her from the chief's house, the other two women walking beside them, holding torches aloft. Epona ached to steal one look backward, to see if her parents were watching her straight back and squared shoulders, but she heard the door pulled shut behind her, its hinges creaking. Only the lord of the tribe had the new iron hinges Llywelyn had recently designed. Epona heard the thud of the bolt, signifying that the child was now barred from the lodge of the mother. She might enter again only after she had passed into her next life. The lodge of Tutorix occupied a central position in the village, a community of dwellings and workplaces built of timber and clinging to the western shore of a narrow, winding alpine lake. Grouped around the chief's house were the lodges of his nearest kinsmen, the nobles of the tribe, and beyond these clustered the smaller lodges of miners and craftsmen and stockmen. Arranged for convenience around the village perimeter were the workshops and carpenter's pavilion, the dome-shaped bakehouse and smoke-houses, the storage pits and holding pens for the livestock. In a place of honour, slightly set apart and surrounded by precious space, stood the forge of Llywelyn the smith. The mountains rose abruptly, crowding in on the village, as if to shove it from its precariously narrow perch into the cold lake. Clinging to the forested slopes above were the lodges of more miners, for many men now worked the great salt mountain. In the folds of the hills, above deep wooded valleys, were the old smelters and mine shafts that had supplied the tribe with copper for bronze-making for many generations. Nearby were the huts of the charcoal burners, the strange men who held themselves apart from most aspects of village life, yet faithfully cut wood and tended the smouldering charcoal mounds upon which the forge and smelters depended. A timbered palisade shielded the village from view of the stony path leading up over the hills to the mountain passes. 4 nights to the west, along that trail, lay the famed Amber Road, leading far north to the sea-gold of the Baltic, and south to sunny Etruria, where it was partially paved with stone and causeways had been built over the frequent marshes. Along this road were shipped copper ingots and bronze ornaments, furs and hides and cattle, casks of honey and resins, bales of wool, beeswax and tools and countless wagon-loads of salt, the outpouring produce of the Blue Mountains. Following the same road up from the south came gold and silver, wine and olive oil, Phaon's glass beads, and topaz jewellery, and ivory bangles, perfumes and dyes, and tanned strangers from lands warmed by the seas of endless summer. Aside from the trail through the mountains, which villagers called the trail,